Hi everyone. It has been a very busy week for me, but I wanted to come and share with you all, or just share with you all, that yesterday I had my first trial. First trial ever. It was a criminal trial. I work for a firm that actually holds the contract to prosecute in this town, in the town that we represent, and I was the prosecutor, and I was successful. I was very nervous leading up to it, and I will probably film a video of how I prepared, the tips and tricks that I've taken from other attorneys, and trial advocacy programs I was involved in not only law school but also my first year being an attorney. They have programs like that, so I can share all my tips and tricks and what I did and how I prepared. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all. I'm very glad that it's over. I was very nervous. But yeah, my week has been busy. It's been super warm here. My garden is looking luscious. I'll probably show you all how it's doing. But yeah, I just wanted to share my small victory. How do I prep for trial? I am going to take you guys behind the scenes to show you how I prepared for my trial. First, I am very diligent about calendaring to make sure I don't miss deadlines when we set for trial. So this was a criminal trial, a jury trial, and I'm a deputy prosecutor. So when we set for trial, we set trial readiness. And per our local court rules where I practice, we have to argue our jury, present our proposed jury instructions and our motions in limine. So I calendar it, and I make sure, if it was set for July, 14th or whatever, I'd make sure that I'd have a very nice draft done 2 weeks before then. And then I would give it to the main prosecutor or someone else in my firm for them to review it, give me feedback, review the case file, and really, really make sure that, I'm covering everything. Usually, as a courtesy, the defense counsel and we also send each other copies a week before, so then we can also draft a response or be ready to have a response to some other motions in limine. So number one is really calendar and give yourself some time to make sure that you have all your documents in order and whatnot. That includes not only jury instructions, motions in limine, it also included, scripts for if I had an officer or a witness or the victim testifying, sending out subpoenas for all our witnesses that were to appear there. Also, usually we set out, 2-3 months in advance. So I also reach out to my officer and my victim or witness, and I meet with them multiple times. I think I met with them 3 times each. So in my first case, last week we had an officer and the witness/victim, and I met with them 3 times, and I went through the questions. The first meeting is just getting to know them and their story, and then the second time is really hammering down and simulating what would be, trial testimony, and then the third time we meet is really just hammering that out. So that's what I do, and also meeting with everyone to make sure that we're, there's nothing that we're missing, and that is what I did. Also, I'm working on preparing an opening statement, closing statement, and whatnot. And then I had a trial binder. This is mine. It's currently empty because we finally closed the case and sentencing was done, so I put it away. But I usually put the name of the person, what the charge is. I usually, in our little sheet that we include for each of our cases, is how, when was it first heard for arraignment, any continuances, any offers. Then in this front little sleeve, as you can see they're labeled, this is where I kept my opening statement. I liked to practice mine in the mirror. And also I know that I'm not going to get it word by word, but at least understanding what I'm trying to convey to the jury in your opening. Then I had questions for my victim / witness in the second sleeve. And the third sleeve I had any, you know, if there was a statement or something that the victim gave to police officers. And I have the police report, and it's usually highlighted with my notes and whatnot, so we have that in front of us to make sure, you know, we want to make sure that when the testimony is going through, if we have any questions, that it's ready. Then I have my little folder for my closing statement. Again, I try not to memorize it, but at least have a main idea of what I'm trying to convey, what I did convey. And then I had my motions in limine because we had already argued those, I think, 2 weeks prior, a week prior. So I had copies of those, so I knew what we could do, what we couldn't, what we had already argued. I had other stuff, you know, in here, at proof of filing or offer, our jury instructions. I had this all in here, so it was ready to go day of trial. I had this all ready. It was very handy. You know, there was actually one of our jury instructions got messed up, and I made sure I had the right one. And so I immediately saw that, had it in my binder because I had copies and I had extras, and I knew. So I had this, and I actually don't have it with me right now, but I had this, it's called the Teglin's Rule of Evidence, so I had that with me, ready to go, and I had bookmarks of, you know, common objections that I can make, but also responses to any objections. So I had that book with me, so I had this in my book ready to go, had it at trial, and, you know, it really takes preparation to do this. I really recommend it, and if you guys, that is how I prepared for my first jury trial. You know, I really put a lot of work into it, and at the end of the day, you know, I knew the case because I spent so much time preparing for it and really getting to know the case itself. And that is how I prepared for trial. If you